What happens when two gay men in their 40s who are afraid of commitment fall in love with each other? Well, you get Bros, which was written and directed by Nicholas Stoller, who did Forgetting Sarah Marshall and Get Him to the Greek. We're gonna make sure we get him to the Greek. We're gonna make sure he gets to the Greek. Yes, the movie's called Get Him to the Greek. Also did Neighbors, Neighbors 2, Electric Boogaloo, and Storks. This is also written by and stars Billy Eichner, who definitely made sure that you knew the Bros was out. My God, he was tweeting all over the goddamn place, tweeting his absolute heart out, making sure that people went to see Bros. They had a hell of a marketing campaign. It was noted as being, funded by a major studio and getting a wide release and having a very, 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 very heavy LGBTQ influence from the cast to the crew and just the overall theme. And it's a rom-com with an LGBTQ influence. And the advertising campaign made sure you knew that, and Billy made sure you knew that, and Billy, don't be a hero. And this also stars Luke McFarlane, who is in a number of Hallmark movies. He plays Aaron, the love interest of Billy's Bobby. Billy, Bobby, Uma, de Oprah, Oprah, de Umrah. But anyway, I digress. And various other LGBTQ actors. And also Deborah Messing has a cameo in this. So, full disclosure, I didn't see this in theaters. The reason I didn't see this in theaters is my time is limited. Also, I wanted to go see the movie Smile. And it got a huge marketing campaign and failed to perform at the box office, apparently. Even though it only cost $22 million to make and market. Maybe it cost a little bit more with the marketing. It was kind of a flop. And then, unfortunately, there was a bit of controversy because Billy kind of went after everybody that didn't go to see it. Probably not the best thing to target various people that might have wanted to see the movie, but maybe just didn't get around to it opening weekend. Some people do have lives and can't always get to the movies on opening weekend. These things happen. And the movie is streaming exclusively on Peacock. And if you have a Peacock subscription, you could absolutely check it out. And I will say, as somebody that wants to see more representation, I have so many friends. So many friends that are LGBTQ. I've gone to various wrestling shows, met numerous people. I'm so happy to see a romantic comedy with an LGBTQ influence. I just wish that they got any of the comedy to land. Because all the comedy basically is the equivalent of landing with a resounding thud or shattering like a plate or being like a dog dragging its ass on the carpet and leaving a goddamn streak, and it just keeps going and going and going. You have to keep watching the dog, and eventually it gets to where the dog is stops dragging its ass because it itches, and it becomes, all bloody and everything, but you can't stop watching it because the jokes just won't end. They won't stop hitting you over the goddamn head with these jokes. Ow. Let me just say right now that from the very beginning, Billy's character is incredibly infuriating. I know he's supposed to be over the top and then he has a story arc later. I get what they were going for. And I really, really do hope that this movie somehow manages to find cult status and leads to more studios saying, hey, we can do LGBTQ type, influence rom-coms. And there can be a big market for this. And there can be, because you shouldn't be ashamed for being who you are. You're born that way. You're born that way. You don't just become that, you're born that way. You can hide who you are. You can try and run away from it. Ooh, she's a little runaway. Or like Real McCoy, run away, run away. You can try to do that. And the movie sends those messages out briefly. But also, I'm sorry, the writing is utter dog shit. I know that's probably going to get me a lot of hate. And I don't really care if I'm called every goddamn name in the book for not caring about this movie. The romantic aspect is basically barely above Hallmark level. There are some endearing moments, but then the endearing moments are basically just shoved to the goddamn side because we need more caricatures, we need more ridiculous nature. Every stereotype about, gay people is basically just smashed into the viewer's eyeballs. Or stabbed into our eyeballs, like the goddamn ice pick from Die Hard 2. Everybody should feel represented. There's nothing wrong with that, but this movie seems to totally miss the goddamn mark. There was a lot of praise for this, and that's great. And I'm not saying that anybody was wrong to praise it. Some people may have found this funny. I didn't. This is one of the most unfunny movies I have seen in years. There was not one goddamn joke, one goddamn skit, and that's what they were. They weren't scenes. They weren't comedic scenes. They weren't comedic moments. They were skits. They were bad SNL skits that just got stretched like crazy, to the point that you just kept wondering, okay, dear God, is this going to end? This movie was an hour and 55 minutes. This movie would have been just fine at 95 minutes. Maybe not 85 minutes, but 95 minutes would have been fine, because there were moments that made sense, and there were certain things that could have been touched on that could have been really good to go with, but no, we had to just do more caricature stuff, is what apparently the filmmakers were thinking. It felt sanitized, pasteurized, and it felt generic. Ultimately, it felt very generic, and it just didn't click. And Billy Eichner's character, I'm sorry, was majorly irritating in, like, I don't want to root for this guy. I don't care what happens with this guy. Yes, it makes a little bit of sense when you learn about why he is that way, and you learn why Aaron's, Luke McFarlane's character's Aaron is like that. You learn a little bit about it, but the thing is the character arcs are only surface deep. They barely can break the surface of water. Like it's like a tablespoon, deep of character development. I give them credit for wanting to make sure more representation happens, but any of the character representation just comes down to caricatures and cartoonish stereotypes in a couple, like one particular dance club scene that was talked about in the trailer. And then there's something about a museum being open, for LGBTQ awareness, LGBTQ people throughout history. That becomes a bone of contention. There are neat little ideas in this, but it just ends up being just your generic rom-com. It's like you could do a bingo card thing, like, okay, this character's got to do this to get this character back, or get this character to like them, or their parents are like this, or, oh, this happened in here, and, oh, I got the free space, and somehow I can click that too. This is as generic as Ticket to Paradise, yet Ticket to Paradise cost more money, and at least had Billy Lord in it, so you got some funny moments. I don't know who thought that the jokes and gags should go like this, but I don't know how much thought they put into them, but more would have helped. Any thought would have helped. I ended up actually getting infuriated by this because there was so much potential with it, and it just ended up totally missing the mark. And sure, okay, there's eventually some good, I guess, somewhat sappy romantic moments about these two unlikely people that are afraid of commitment coming together right now over them. That makes sense. The whole point, it makes sense why this movie, got some attention and why they were really, really pushing. There were advertisements all over the place when I would go see movies. Pretty much from June on. Not The Grudge, not Ju-on. But from June on, I would keep seeing advertisements for it. And I'm like, okay, you know what? I'm not really laughing at the trailer, but I hope that movie does well. And then it didn't. And Billy Eichner's behavior didn't exactly necessarily help, even though I would have understood where he was coming from. It kind of did damage to the movie. So anyway, that's really all I have to say right there. I'm going to get into spoilers here in a second. People may like this, and that's fine. I really, really hope this does find a second life on streaming. Makes its money back. Perhaps we get more LGBTQ type, rom-coms, dramas, and more studios put funding into that to get more of the stories out for representation. That's great. But if it's going to be stuff like this, and one of the stars is going to lash out at people that didn't go to see it, and yes, there are some goddamn bigots and some goddamn idiots that probably protested it, and fuck all them, and I will say that. But if there were people that were interested and he turned them off from that, probably not the best move. So anyway, yeah, the spoilers will not take very long. 3, 2, 1, and spoilers. Okay. So, Bobby is afraid of commitment. He is a podcaster. He has the museum. He's wrote children's books, and he's very, very out there and very, just right in your face about wanting to make sure there's LGBTQ representation. There's nothing wrong with that. And then, of course, you get the stereotypes in the dance club. They get this old guy. Oh, my God, he's ripped. Yeah, it's like they injected steroids into Dumbledore. Seriously, whoever came up with these jokes are goddamn idiots. I mean, they are goddamn morons. Hey, what's up? Actually, I think took up like 25%. It's like supposed to be, thing like, oh, hey, what's up? He's actually interested. And that goes for anybody that flirts. I mean, that could be kind of thing. The whole hey you up, doesn't exactly work. But Aaron keeps disappearing because he's also afraid of commitment, and also he's got his stuff where he likes to be free to do what he wants any old time. As our Lord and Saviors, the Soup Dragons, once said. I don't know one other Soup Dragon song that came out. The songs are certainly a choice. Everybody's annoying, and I'm sorry, Billy Eichner's character is super annoying in this. Like, it's hard to even stomach a lot of the shit that he does. Once the romance stuff comes up, it handles the serious stuff a little bit better, not much. Any characters that get introduced, they're like, oh, Bill, or Bobby, that's so good that you found somebody, or oh, Aaron, so good that you found somebody. Eventually, they do get together. Aaron invites Bobby to come meet his parents for Christmas, which he never usually does. This is after sharing that he wanted to become a chocolatier, but he kind of got run off from that. So he works at a job where he helps people finalize their will and figure out where to put their money. Well, Bobby continues to do this stuff with the museum. They go to a place called Provincetown, where, before meeting the parents, where they get a guy to donate a whole bunch of money, but he wants a gay trauma roller coaster in a museum for some reason. I guess that's supposed to be funny. The Santa baby thing was actually kind of funny. It was actually kind of hilarious. You're never going to hear that song the same way again, even though I will say the Eartha Kitt version was much better. The Madonna version, yeah, F Madonna forever for doing that. But anyway, Bobby got tired of being told, oh, calm down, because that's one thing Aaron said. Could you tone it down a little bit and be less yourself? Ooh. Because Aaron's more reserved. He's not afraid to be who he is. But then Bobby doesn't want to do that, finds out that Aaron's mom is a school teacher, and basically goes off about, oh, you're a second grade school teacher, you should teach your kids about gay rights. Really what it comes down to is there should be a free choice to teach those rights, and those states should say, no, you can't teach people about gay people, but at the same time, there should be a balance on there. Obviously, people should be able to learn about this stuff without feeling constricted or feeling forced. And I mean, that goes for anything. It goes for any aspect of history, anything. They shouldn't feel forced. I have to learn about this. You should learn because you want to. You should learn if you want to. You can learn your friends behind. I probably shouldn't have said that joke, but in retrospect, I don't really give a shit. So after that, to kind of get a separation thing, oh no. Bobby then mentioned something about kind of an awakening. He was with his parents. Saw something with a bunch of guys on the stage when he was 12 and said, I saw 7 soft penises, and I guess that's supposed to be funny. It's like those 144 guys that were arrested for cockfighting, and I don't know how they fit all those guys in the ring. So he also says that Aaron hates his life because Aaron doesn't really like his job and he wants to do other things. Well, then there was this running gag about Abraham Lincoln possibly being a gay man. Could have been, could have not been. That tall hat probably meant something. Who the hell knows? But they go their separate ways. It turns out that Aaron actually does steroids to keep his physique, even though you have to work out to keep your physique. And Bobby decides to do them, but then it doesn't end up working out, and he's just on roid rage, or says he is, and it's funny. No, it's not funny. Bobby apologizes to his friends on this museum board, whoever that. It's just a bunch of caricatures, just more caricatures. The movie's so mind-numbingly lacking in any nuance. I mean, it's not even fun. At this point, it kind of got agonizing to get through. Aaron, it comes up with a way to, become a chocolatier, get a donation thing for the museum to, continue stuff going on, to continue the progression of the museum and to support LGBTQA awareness. That's great. And Bobby, who doesn't like country music, decides to learn a song because he realizes that he does love Aaron, and oh, it's so sweet. It's so sweet. It brings a tear to a glass eye. It sounds like I'm dumping on every aspect of this, and I am. I wanted to like this. And pretty much from the very beginning, they gave me every reason not to like Billy Eichner's character. And then Aaron shows up while the museum opening is going just fine, and Bobby sings a song, and it's all sweet and everything. And it's a good thing that he had a montage of clips to show on the big screen, apparently. And then there's the proposal, because why the hell not? And then Ben Stiller's hologram makes an appearance. We have Seth Meyers as a guy, Kenan Thompson as somebody, and somebody as Eleanor Roosevelt. I didn't bother to look up the cast. I really don't give a shit at this point, but it's a Night at the Gay Museum. I mean, let's be honest. It couldn't have gone any worse than Night at the Museum or the other 3,000 movies they did of that. And it was a commitment for 3 months because they're still afraid of commitment. But, oh, no, it's fine. They're fine. They're all fine. Everybody's fine. The mother brings the second grade class to learn about this. And everything's happy except Bobby doesn't want kids. Aaron does. And they chase each other into the street, seemingly getting hit by traffic. So we're not going to get Bros 2. I mean, they ain't get hit by traffic, but let's just, let's just hope we don't get a Bros 2. And if we do, maybe Billy Eichner could, I don't know, ease back a little bit and realize that some people do have lives and can't always see a movie opening weekend. Okay, this is going to piss people off, and I'm giving it an F. Why am I giving it an F? I did not have a good time watching this. At times, this movie is agonizing to get through. I really hope more LGBTQ representation happens, but this was not good. This was not good at all. I open myself up to hate, knowing that I'm just giving my opinion. Anyway, let me know your thoughts in the comments. Like, share, subscribe, Twitter handle in the description. I'm John Recklin. I'll see you soon.